Welcome to the June edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll get a preview of a popular summer event in White Bear Lake, Marketfest. We'll find a place that will help your home look beautiful this summer with flowers and plants. And we'll learn about the Lakeshore Players Theatre's plans to build a new community performing arts center in White Bear Lake. All that and more is straight ahead on Northeast Journal. Hello everyone and welcome to the June edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host Joe Cullen. Every month on Northeast Journal we give you an inside look at the people and places that make up the northeast section of the Twin Cities. A farm in White Bear Lake has been in the Costa family for generations. We took a trip out there to see their wide collection of beautiful plants and flowers. It's always a busy time of year for the Costa family at their farm in the White Bear Lake area.
This time of year we're busy with our bedding plants and hanging baskets and perennial operation here. We have 8 greenhouses in the back. That's our growing range. This up here is our retail facility. And then we're busy starting to get out in the field doing our spring planting of our produce.
Owner Ron Costa says they've had a steady stream of customers at Costa Farm in recent weeks interested in their plants and hanging baskets.
We have a lot of combination baskets. A lot of these are for sun. We have shade ones too. And best advice, keep it watered and keep them fertilized. That's key. You have to feed them at least once a week and water them pretty much every day if it's warm and sunny out.
For the first time, Costa Farm is also offering a CSA program, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture. Every week, you'll receive a box of the finest produce Costa Farm grows.
Check out our CSA. It's new this year. We're excited about it. It's a great deal. People like to know where their produce is coming from. It's coming from basically their backyard. It's 2,000 miles fresher. A lot of this produce in the grocery stores is, by the time it gets to Minnesota, sometimes it's 3-4 days old. And then it sits in the store for a few days and, fresh matters.
Costa Farm is located 5 miles east of downtown White Bear Lake on Highway 96. Find out more on their website at costafarm.com. A popular family festival is turning 25 this year. Marketfest is held in downtown White Bear Lake on Thursday evenings throughout June and July. With me now is the director of Marketfest, Deb Stender. Deb, I want to thank you so much for joining me today.
Great, thanks for having me.
Now I understand this is your first year as the director of Marketfest?
It is, so quite exciting and some new things to me, of course, although I've been going to the festival since its beginning, so I feel like it's just another piece and another side of it.
So you're very familiar with Marketfest then, even before your role with working with them?
I am, which is very fortunate.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, it'll be starting up here in June. Well, what is the exact first date?
Sure, so it begins Thursday, June 18th, and as you said, it runs through July. The last Thursday would be July 30th.
Okay, and once it starts, it's every Thursday, right?
Correct, yep, so 7 weeks.
And what time does it run?
It runs 6 to 9 o'clock.
Okay, and for those, anyone who is watching this who lives in White Bear Lake, the area, is probably already familiar with it, but in case somebody isn't, could you kind of describe a little bit about what Marketfest is?
Sure, absolutely. So throughout the 7 weeks, every night we have 2 stages of live music, over 140 vendors, merchandise, arts, food, which is great, and quite a variety of things with food. Did I mention food? But we also have a lot of children's activities, family-friendly events. There's a classic car show each night, which is wonderful, brings out some beauties there. And as I said, lots of live musical entertainment and some roving entertainment as well.
Yeah, and really does seem to appeal to all ages. I know myself, when I first moved here years ago, it was just myself and my wife. We enjoyed it then, and we enjoy it just as much now. We have a young son, and he loves the bouncy houses and, like you said, the food. You can't go wrong.
Petting zoo,
petting zoo, like every kind of food you could imagine out there.
It really is.
Especially seems like last 2 years, especially, been blessed with some good weather. So no better place to be on a Thursday night.
Keep our fingers crossed for that. Yeah, I oftentimes say too, it's training ground for the state fair.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I suppose that's one thing you don't have control over is the weather, but it seems more often than not you have some nice
Yeah,
days.
I believe that over the 25 years, I think it's only been called off one time in that many years. So it's a good sign. Hopefully we'll have that again, and so that we won't have any inclement weather.
Now, I would imagine, even though it starts here soon, this must be kind of like a year-round thing, with all the planning and all the details that go into getting Marketfest going.
Yeah, it does take, the full year to get everything organized and planned. I'm very fortunate to have a group of dedicated committee members, business owners, residents of the area too, that help, and many volunteers that put this together. It's certainly a group, takes a village effort to do it, and the businesses are very supportive, and of course that's one of our hopes too, is that we really want to draw people to downtown and showcase our wonderful area and our wonderful businesses.
Yeah, I know a lot of the businesses, have different, special events or things going on to try to encourage people to come in their stores. So it seems like, even though there's a lot of people downtown tonight, it seems like it's a benefit to them to kind of get their name out there a little bit too.
Absolutely.
And, it seems like you get people from all over, not just White Bear Lake, that, like I said, for 25 years, that name's been out there and people love to come in for it.
Yeah, we're fortunate that, yes, of course, it's wonderful for the White Bear residents, but we're finding that it draws from quite a few of the surrounding communities as well.
Great. And is there anything kind of new and exciting happening this summer at Marketfest?
Well, being that it is the 25th anniversary, we do have a few things planned, some that are kind of a surprise, and so that we hope that people will come every week to see and uncover some of these. But in particular, the week, Thursday, July 9th, will be very much concentrating on the anniversary, so I'd really encourage people to plan for that night in particular.
Okay. And, are you telling people what's happening, or it's a surprise?
A little bit of a surprise.
Well, that's exciting. And
yeah.
It seems like the kind of event, too, I know myself, like it's not just a, you go once kind of thing. It seems like a lot of people go every week or, multiple times throughout the summer.
A lot of repeats, which is neat. And I think you see, and I know, too, as you had said, going, every year for the last 25 years, multiple nights, you run into people that you haven't seen for a while, that you've gone to school with, old neighbors, new acquaintances, business owners. It's kind of a mini reunion in a sense.
Yeah, I can't think of a time that I've gone that I haven't run into somebody. And, I think one of the hardest things, is that there's so many options of things there, but yet, you find, like, say, a favorite food. I know myself, I tend to be a creature of habit, and I always get the same burger and the same cookie ice cream sandwich, whatever, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things I love, but I just look forward to that so much. I seem to be stuck on the same few
Yeah,
things.
and I hear that from the vendors as well, which is a really nice piece of it too, where they're seeing the same people and they look forward to that too, and so it's a very nice feeling. People know each other.
And I know from past years we've been out there doing stories or different things. I know they can't start selling their food till that certain time, right at 6, but people are ready. They're lined up. They're trying to, negotiate, like, oh, can't you get me this earlier? And then, oh, no, we got rules. But the minute it seems like they turn 6,
it's a big
people
deal.
are ready. Yeah.
Big
and,
deal.
if people are interested in learning a little bit more about Marketfest, I know you have a website. Can you give us that?
Yeah, absolutely. And our website is very robust with all of the information on what happens each night. It's www.marketfest.org.
I know on there, too, you have a list of the different musicians and bands that will be playing each night and some of the other entertainment people can find.
We do, absolutely.
I imagine a lot of work goes into that too, just planning all the entertainment, music, and everything.
Yeah, we're fortunate too in this area that we have an amazing array of artists, musicians, and so we really are able to draw and have some just cream of the crop entertainers at our event. So it's very, very nice.
Yeah, I know so oftentimes you do have people who, are White Bear Lake residents or from this immediate area
Absolutely.
that are performing.
In fact, most of the entertainment, if you see their bios, they have some type of, connection to the community, whether they've been a resident, are a resident, work in the area, or have family in the area. So that's a special part of it as well.
Great. And, is there any advice you'd give to people, especially if it's going to be their first time checking out Marketfest this summer?
Sure, I would say, try to get around the whole area. It might take a couple of times too, which is great, and we encourage that. But I think too, it's just, come for the 3 hours, you'll be busy.
Yeah, definitely. There's no shortage of things to do, and sometimes it's just fun to sit and relax and listen to music, or just look at the different vendors and of course eat.
Lots
and
of shopping and eat.
Yeah, and then you can work off some of that food too with all the walking you're going to do.
Absolutely.
And would you give people any advice, in terms of parking? I know sometimes, if you don't get there right away, you might have to park a little ways away.
Sure, I think that it's usually there's ample parking around the area. Of course, there are some parking, no parking in the immediate area down there, but just circle around a little bit and you will find a spot. It's a lot easier than you think.
Yeah. And again, it starts June 18th.
June 18th.
June 18th. It'll run through the end of July.
Correct.
Every Thursday from 6 to 9 in downtown White Bear Lake. Can't miss it. If you head downtown, you'll see all the people there. And anything else you care to tell our viewers about Marketfest?
We're just really excited about this being our 25th year. The longevity is a wonderful thing, and it has grown over the years. So there's always some new things to see, whether you've been there over the years or a newcomer to it.
And are you hoping to be the director for many years to come then?
I sure hope to be.
Well, great. Well, we wish you the best of luck with your first Marketfest as director, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you out there, and look forward to a great summer.
Many thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And it's time for a short break. We'll be right back to hear about some exciting plans that the Lakeshore Players Theatre have.
Heroes come from small towns.
Many of our heroes coming home from wars in Iraq and Afghanistan have a new battle: unemployment. Hello, I'm Rocky Lynn.
I'm Sergeant Dejan Farrell.
And I'm Captain Ron Jarvie. The unemployment rate for today's veteran is 12%.
That's twice the average of others living here in the Heartland.
This year, tribute to the troops, the armed forces, and members of the Upper Midwest ME chapter are asking you to help. Hire today's veteran.
To hire today's veteran, visit positivelyminnesota.com/veterans.
Welcome back to Northeast Journal. Lakeshore Players Theatre has been an institution in White Bear Lake for decades. They're now undergoing a capital campaign to build a new community performing arts center. With me today is Executive Director Joan Elwell and Capital Campaign Consultant Kathy Blagan-Huntley. I want to thank both of you for joining me today on Northeast Journal. Now, first off, before we get into your exciting campaign, I can't imagine there's too many folks out there watching who aren't at least somewhat familiar with Lakeshore Players Theatre, but could you just kind of tell us a little bit about the theater?
Sure. Well, Lakeshore Players has been around for 62, nearly 63 years now here in White Bear Lake. And we're currently located at 4820 Stewart Avenue, corner of 6th and Stewart. And we have year-round programming with shows, musicals, plays, children's programming, just a full slate of activities. And anyone can learn all about it online at our website at lakeshoreplayers.org.
Great. And as I mentioned in my introduction, the theater is undergoing a capital campaign for a new building. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. We've been planning for the capital campaign since 2012. Lakeshore has known for quite a while that they need a new home. The church that they're in is a lovely landmark on Stewart Avenue, but it's old and it's got a lot of issues. And the organization actually looked at how can we stay in our current home and renovate it, but because of the problems with the building, it's just not possible. And it's also in a residential area, so it was really time to look for new space.
I imagine, yes, it just keeps being popular all these years. You are kind of limited by space and even parking and things like that.
Yeah, it's residential neighborhood, so parking it can be a challenge. And really, Lakeshore has grown so much under Joan's direction and the community's direction, the board of directors, that they're really out of room at their current building. So we started talking to various cities, the city of White Bear Lake, about how can we find a new place, and there's not a lot of available space. In Shoreview and Hugo also heard that Lakeshore was looking for a new home and approached us as well with their interest and wanted us to relocate there. But we were able to find a perfect spot in White Bear Lake. So we purchased the land last November and are new landowners.
And where is that new spot going to be?
Well, it is located on Long Avenue, just facing Highway 61, next door to the new White Bear Center for the Arts at 4941 Long Avenue. It was the former site of the Twin City Nursery.
Okay, so it'll be kind of a nice area then if you got the art center
Yes.
and then your new building as well. It'll be kind of
Yes.
a little cultural corner there of White Bear Lake.
Exactly. We really feel like we're creating an arts district, the first arts district in the White Bear Lake area, the Northeast metro area. So it's really going to spur a lot of economic growth and a lot of interest to that site. And the owners of Twin Cities Nursery wanted to retire and approached Lakeshore about purchasing the property some time ago, and because they felt it would be a legacy for their family. And a donor couple came forward and said that we will finance the purchase of the land for you. So that was really our first large six-figure gift. So. Yeah. Seven-figure gift. Yeah.
It's a lot of figures.
Yes, that's right.
So how important was it for you to stay in White Bear Lake? You know, I mean, obviously nothing against Shoreview or Hugo, but obviously you've had such a legacy in White Bear Lake. I imagine that was a consideration that you want to be part of the community still.
Yeah, absolutely. It was important. You know, we do draw from a wide area from across the Twin Cities, you know, beyond White Bear Lake, Shoreview, Hugo, and then throughout the Northeast metro area. But I'd say White Bear Lake is a core.
Yeah, it's really the home, and when the city of White Bear Lake and a lot of local people heard that we were looking and that there was a possibility that other cities were interested in us, they really came forward, and there was a huge groundswell of support. And along with the first capital gift to purchase the land, we realized this is the perfect place to stay, and there's so much support here for the capital campaign that we've already done very well with it.
Now, what are some of the you know, maybe features that you're hoping to have in this building that'll be different from, you know, what you have at your current location?
Yeah. Want to talk about it?
Sure, yeah. So Lakeshore has a tremendous children's program, year-round theater program, outreach programs, and they've always wanted to add music and dance and other performing arts, and in this new facility we'll be able to do that. It's going to be a 16,000 square foot all one level facility, so it'll be completely accessible for everyone. If you've ever been to Lakeshore, you know it's not really accessible. There's a lot of stairs, and the bathrooms are located in the basement, so accessibility is incredibly important for our patrons, for our audience, as well as actors. We're going to have a 240-seat proscenium theater, so not too big. We want to keep that small, very sort of small town feel, comfy, cozy feel. That was really important to the community. But we also added a learning lab or education room that can seat 72 people. That's a very flexible space for lots of shows. And we're seeking partners currently who want to perform in the new facility, music, dance, those kinds of things. So we'll be bringing other organizations to the area as well.
So it's really going to be a performing arts center. So beyond a new home for Lakeshore Players, it's going to be, you know, a performing arts center for the entire community.
Well, like we said earlier, I mean, being so close to the White Bear Center for the Arts as well, I mean, there's going to be so much going on, and you know, do you have any hopes for any collaboration with them as you're over there?
Yep, we've been talking with their organization for a long time. Lakeshore and White Bear Center for the Arts are good friends. They're very excited about Lakeshore coming and being their new neighbors, and we've shared our plans. We're talking about how can we share parking space, how can we share some open green space perhaps, how can we collaborate and do different events together. So that'll be really exciting for the community.
And, you know, from what I've noticed over the years, anytime I've either attended Lakeshore Players Theatre or done stories on it over the years, it's amazing what a wide range of you know, people participate there. Everything from, you know, we've done stories on little kids doing things there to you have, you know, senior citizens that are even sometimes making their debut on stage.
Absolutely.
It's such a nice mix of people who are hoping to, you know, make theater, you know, their life, and also people that are just interested in it and are kind of giving it a try.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And a wide range of programming as well, you know, from well-known plays to original works through our 10-minute play festival.
Yeah, it seems like there's always something exciting going on there, and I know, you know, anytime I've driven by that area, especially when something's going on, there definitely are, you know, a lot of cars out there.
A lot of rehearsals.
So I'm sure to have your own, you know, dedicated lot will be nice too. So, you know, kind of what's the timeline here? When are you hoping to, you know, really have things
Well,
finished?
you don't really know with a capital campaign. You can hope, and it all depends upon how quickly you raise the money. So as soon as we raise a certain amount of money, we can break ground. We own the property, which is terrific, so we're ready to go from that standpoint. So we're looking for people to continually to invest in the campaign. And the good news is Lakeshore can stay where they are and continue to operate and do all the wonderful things that they do in the programs, and then sell our current building and apply that to the new facility. So We've already raised 35% of our goal, or over $2.2 million. Our goal currently is $6.2 million for the new project. So we'd love to be in as soon as the fall season of 2017. That would be ideal, but it all depends upon the fundraising. So.
Great. I understand. In the meantime, you're also going to have some different events coming up as well. What are some of those?
Yeah, so June 6th, we've got a VIP event at our current Lakeshore home where we're going to have some wine and cheese, and people will get to hear more about the project and ask questions, and then they can stay and watch the 10-minute play festival. So if they're interested in that, they should contact Lakeshore Players about that.
Well, I imagine, you'll hopefully find a lot of support from the community. It seems like they've rallied around not only the Center for the Arts, but also, the new library that just opened up here recently. It seems like it's a community that's passionate. They love for the things to stay right in White Bear Lake. I know, especially with the library, they didn't want to see it go somewhere else. They wanted it right in White Bear Lake. So kind of an exciting time.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of people involved in the campaign that are, and we're looking for more. So Kathy can speak to that.
Yeah, we have a 22-member capital campaign committee. So this is a very volunteer-driven or community-driven capital campaign, grassroots. So we're looking for people at all levels to participate and help out with lots of events that we have coming up. So that's really important. So they should reach out and contact us.
So yeah, if people are interested in either donating or just finding out how they can get more involved, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can contact us directly. A lot of information is on our website, too, at lakeshoreplayers.org. There's a lot of information about the capital campaign right there, including a nifty 3D fly-through video. You can see what the new building will look like.
I'm sure compared to a lot of businesses, you guys have an advantage that even if someone's not that familiar with Lakeshore, they can come out and see a show, and more likely they're going to fall in love with it and say, yeah, I want to invest in this and keep this in the community.
Exactly. That's why we're holding this VIP event on Saturday, June 6th, I believe, and it's on our website. So that's to provide more information about the campaign. And so people can get to experience Lakeshore Players today, because it's fantastic today, and it's only going to get better in the new facility. And I want to mention the new facility. You mentioned all the things that are going on in the White Bear Lake community that affects the whole Northeast Metro region. This new facility for Lakeshore is a huge economic driver. And it's also a draw for people that want to move into the area, young families, as senior citizens are maybe moving out of their house. We want young families to move in. It's also part of the White Bear Lake's strategic plan for the city. So it fits in perfectly from that perspective as well.
I'm sure it kind of helps everybody, even restaurants, they get the business before or after a show, and even people that live outside the area that come in and say, oh, hey, this is a cool town. They got a neat downtown or whatever, and maybe come back another time to check out some of the businesses and other areas, and they might even decide they want to get involved with Lakeshore and maybe even audition for a show someday.
That's right,
or,
it'd be great.
Be part of that capital campaign. Well, I want to thank both of you again, and again, that website if people are interested.
It's lakeshoreplayers.org.
All right, so we'll hope people visit that and check out some of the events and everything going on, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again in the future, and hopefully it won't be long before we can be out there and cover your grand opening.
That would be great.
Looking forward to it.
We can't wait.
Sounds great.
Thanks.
And changing gears now, Ronald McDonald houses exist throughout the nation to help families stay close to their children who are going through medical treatment. Producer Mary Klein and photographer Jeff Melcock bring us this story.
When my kids and I go to McDonald's, we see the little Ronald McDonald house. I was like, oh, that's the thing that helps support. So like they're getting money out of their pocket and putting all their coins in there.
Texan Jason Delgado and his family never planned to have an extended stay in the Twin Cities, but life circumstances brought them here. Jason and his wife adopted a son from Russia, knowing he had a rare skin disease called epidermal isis bullosa, or EB for short. It leaves his skin susceptible to injuries.
The first time I saw him get a dressing change and seeing one of his legs and it just looked like a raw piece of meat, I almost blacked out because it was really rough, and just to see all the stuff he went through. And so at that point we had already decided to adopt him. And so at that point your kind of parent instinct kicks in, like, well, whatever I can do for my child, that's what I'm going to do.
The Delgados moved to provide their son Anton with first-rate medical treatment. They've been staying at the Ronald McDonald House on the U of M campus since March. He finds comfort spending time with other families in similar circumstances.
There is a camaraderie amongst even the people down here, because everyone's here for some kind of special medical procedure. So It's an easy way to get to know people, and you wind up having a lot of the same experiences, like, oh yeah, I went to that doctor, yeah, I had to wait in the waiting room for 4 hours today, or my kid's sick again in the hospital.
The Ronald McDonald House provides families like the Delgados living more than 60 miles from the Twin Cities a place to stay. With the U of M Children's Hospital just minutes away, it's convenient, and staff and volunteers provide families all the amenities of home.
You took everything else that I would have worried about off my list so I could just focus on my child and getting them back to health. And that's incredibly powerful to know that you're able to give that gift to families.
The house was purchased 36 years ago and has 48 rooms. There's a school, internet, exercise equipment, a touchscreen computer monitor with the day's activities, and free laundry service. In addition to fully stocked pantries, every night volunteers prepare a home-cooked meal.
It's just a great way to give something to people who are in a position of needing it, needing some help and some, a little TLC. Which means tacos, lettuce, and cheese.
For the second year, employees from Uptown Dermatology are taking over the main kitchen. Adeline Danforth started the tradition. She stayed at the house with their young son for 3 nights when he was sick with the fever.
It was hard, you really, as a parent, you can try to put yourself in their position. You can't until you are, but I just thought that having a place like Ronald McDonald House, if I was in their situation more long term, how incredible it really is.
All these kids that are going through an illness, they're kids.
CEO John Stanek says families from around the world stay at the house.
Saudi Arabia.
And even though not every ending is a happy one, families are always grateful.
Even though they've been through an awful time with their children's illness, and in some cases when they lose their children, universally what they express is appreciation that this organization was there for them. A pretty common comment from a lot of parents is, I never thought I would need something like the Ronald McDonald House, but when my child became ill, I don't know what I would have done if you weren't there.
Good job!
That's all we have time for. Thanks for tuning in, and join us again next month for another edition of Northeast Journal.